Respected Principal Sir, worthy faculty members, and my dear students, very good morning to all of you. On behalf of Government College of Education, Sector 20, Chandigarh, and Cultural Committee, I welcome you all on the celebration of this day, that is International Mother Language Day. आप सबका बहुत बहुत इस्तकबाल है, अभिनंदन है, स्वागत है आज के इस कार्यक्रम में। और मैं इस कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत के लिए, हमें आशीर्वाद देने के लिए और आज के इस दिन पर अपने विचार प्रकट करने के लिए सबसे पहले मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगा हमारे कॉलेज के प्रधानाचार्य महोदय प्रिंसिपल डॉक्टर ए.के. श्रीवास्तव जी को कि वो आए और अपने विचार रखें और आज के इस कार्यक्रम का शुभारंभ करें और हमें अपना आशीर्वाद दें। सर।
आदरणीय आज के कार्यक्रम की कोऑर्डिनेटर डॉक्टर बलविंदर कौर मैम, सहयोगी श्री रविंदर जी, डॉक्टर रजनी मैम, श्री मनीष जी और सपोर्टिंग स्टाफ। मेरे प्यारे बच्चों, आज के इंटरनेशनल मदर लैंग्वेज डे पर मैं गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज ऑफ एजुकेशन सेक्टर 20 चंडीगढ़ की तरफ से अपने समस्त कोलीग्स और स्टाफ मेंबर्स के साथ आप सबको इस दिन की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं और बधाई देता हूं तथा आप सबका स्वागत करता हूं। बच्चों, वैसे इंटरनेशनल ये मदर्स लैंग्वेज डे 21 को मनाया जाता है, लेकिन 21 फरवरी को संडे होने की वजह से और एग्जाम की फाइनल एग्जाम हमारे चल रहे हैं, जिसकी वजह से आज टाइम निकाल करके इसको पहले ही सेलिब्रेट किया जा रहा है। इस संदर्भ में मैं आपको भाषा के संदर्भ में, मदर लैंग्वेज के संदर्भ में, यानी मदर टंग के संबंध में, जिसे मातृभाषा कहते हैं, के संबंध में क्या बताऊं। जितना बताया जाए उतना कम है। बच्चा जन्म लेकर के जैसे ही जन्म लेता है, सबसे पहले वह अपनी मदर लैंग्वेज या अपनी माँ के छांव में ही पलता बढ़ता है और जो उसका उस समय का परिवेश होता है वही उसका मदर टंग कहा जाता है। सोचने समझने की क्षमता, अपने व्यक्तित्व को विकसित करने की क्षमता, त्वरित रिस्पांस देने की क्षमता और साथ ही साथ बड़े सहज रूप में उसको स्वीकार करने की क्षमता मदर टंग में जो होती है वो उससे संबंधित और किसी अन्य लैंग्वेज में नहीं होती है। भाषाएं बहुत है, इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेज है, स्टेट लैंग्वेज है, राजकाज की भाषा है, लेकिन जो मदर लैंग्वेज है उसकी बात ही अलग होती है। और इसीलिए इस मदर टंग यानी मदर लैंग्वेज को इंटरनेशनल मदर लैंग्वेज डे के रूप में, एक विशेष दिन के रूप में सेलिब्रेट करने के लिए यह कार्य किया जा रहा है। क्योंकि हमारी जो अपनी माँ बोली है, हमारी जो अपनी मातृभाषा है, उसकी क्या अहमियत है और वह हमारे व्यक्तित्व को, उससे भी बड़ी बात, हमारे मनुष्य होने को कैसे विकसित करती है, कैसे उसको व्याख्यायित करती है, इससे बढ़कर के दुनिया में और कोई भाषा नहीं होती। आप जानते हैं कि आप वैसे जीवन में बहुत सारी भाषाएं सीखते हैं, लेकिन जब अप्रत्याशित कोई भी घटना आपके साथ घटती है, अनकॉन्शियस रूप में भी आपसे जो भी कुछ रिस्पांस निकलता है वह मदर टंग के रूप में ही निकलता है। जब आप बहुत सोच समझ कर बोलते हैं तब आप किसी भी लैंग्वेज का प्रयोग कर सकते हैं, करते हैं, लेकिन जब अप्रत्याशित रूप से कोई घटना घटती है तो मदर टंग के रूप में ही सामने आती है, मदर लैंग्वेज के रूप में ही सामने आती है। एक घटना मैं बताऊं बच्चों, मैंने किताब में पढ़ा था, उज्जैनी जो किसी समय हमारे देश की राजधानी थी और उस समय हमारे देश पर विक्रमादित्य जी का शासन था। उनके दरबारी कवियों में महाकवि कालिदास जी बड़े फेमस कवि थे। आप जानते हैं संस्कृत के उद्भट कवि के रूप में महाकवि कालिदास का नाम आता है और शेक्सपियर के को भी उसके समकक्ष यानी उनके समकक्ष खड़ा करते हैं। एक घटना थी, एक बार विक्रमादित्य जी के दरबार में एक बड़ा गुणी व्यक्ति आया। उसे 18 भाषाओं का ज्ञान था और उसने उनके दरबार में खुली चुनौती दी, जो हमारी मदर लैंग्वेज यानी मदर टंग को पहचान लेगा, बता देगा, मैं आपके इन दरबारियों में लोहा मान लूंगा और मैं ये समझ लूंगा कि आपके दरबारियों में ये सभी लोग विद्वान हैं, वाकई में ये विशेष बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति हैं। नहीं तो मैं समझूंगा कि आपके दरबार में जितने भी ये गुणी व्यक्ति यहाँ इकट्ठा हुए हैं वो मूर्ख हैं। एक चुनौती थी, 18 भाषाओं की जानकारी उसको थी। अब उसे मदर लैंग्वेज कैसे पकड़ी जाए, और सब में स्पॉन्टेनियस फ्लो की बात थी, धारा प्रवाह, प्रवाहशीलता और प्रभावशीलता दोनों उसके साथ जुड़ी हुई थी। विक्रमादित्य ने कहा, ठीक है, आपको आपके इस सवाल का जवाब मिल जाएगा, आप 1 हफ्ते बाद यहां पर आइएगा। उसके बाद, उसके जाने के बाद विक्रमादित्य ने अपने सभी दरबारियों को बुलाया और ये सवाल रखा। काफी लोग असमंजस में पड़ गए, लेकिन महाकवि कालिदास जी ने कहा कि ये चुटकियों का काम है, उसे कल नहीं, उसे 1 हफ्ते बाद नहीं, उसे कल ही बुला लीजिए। और उन्होंने सारी की सारी प्लानिंग बताई कि कितने बजे आपको उसे बुलाना है, कहां से उसे जाना है, कहां से हमसे उसका संपर्क होगा, और मैं बताऊंगा। ठीक है, विक्रमादित्य महाराज ने उसको सूचना भिजवा दी कि कल आप इतने बजे हमारे राज दरबार में हाजिर होंगे। दरबार लगा हुआ था, वह व्यक्ति उस दरबार की सीढ़ियों को चढ़ने लगा। उसी समय महाकवि कालिदास जी उसके दूसरी तरफ से आते हुए उससे रूबरू हुए और जानबूझ करके उन्होंने उसके पैर में बहुत तेजी से धक्का दे दिया और वो गिर गया। ऐसा लगा कि जैसे वो तेजी से चले जा रहे हैं, उन्हें दिखाई नहीं पड़ रहा है, और उनके इस प्रयास से वो गिर गया और गिरते हुए लुढ़कते हुए वो जमीन पर आ गया सीढ़ियों से, और उसने मुंह से उसके अचानक कुछ अपशब्द निकल गए। विक्रमा वहां पर महाकवि कालिदास जी खड़े हो गए और उन्होंने उसी समय कहा कि महानुभाव, मुझे क्षमा कीजिएगा, ये मेरी धृष्टता थी, लेकिन आपकी मदर लैंग्वेज यही है जो अभी आपने बोला। और बच्चों, मैं बताऊं कि वो बिल्कुल सच बात थी। जब कभी हमारे जीवन में अप्रत्याशित घटना घटती है तो हमारे मुंह से सबसे पहले मदर टंग ही निकलती है, मदर लैंग्वेज निकलती है। और इंटरनेशनल मदर लैंग्वेज की बात क्या है कि वह लैंग्वेज जो पूरी दुनिया में मातृभाषा की तरह स्वीकार करी जाती है, यानी जहां भी जाइए उस भले ही लोग अपनी अपनी मदर टंग को बोलते हो, मदर लैंग्वेज को बोलते हैं, लेकिन इंटरनेशनल रूप में मदर लैंग्वेज के रूप में उसी, आप जानते हैं, जहां तक मेरी जानकारी है, इंटरनेशनल मदर लैंग्वेज के रूप में हमारे दुनिया की कौन सी भाषा सबसे नजदीक है और कौन सी भाषा को आप मात्रा दे पाएंगे, स्वीकार कर पाएंगे। हो सकता है कि आपके मन में कुछ और हो, लेकिन मैं जहां तक समझता हूँ कि आप निश्चित तौर पर इंग्लिश को इस बात को बताएंगे कि हमारी इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेज इंग्लिश सही है या गलत है, लेकिन जिस तरह से हम किसी भी अदर ज्ञान विज्ञान के क्षेत्र में हम जो कम्युनिकेशन करते हैं उसमें क्या होता है कि हमारी इंग्लिश की प्राथमिकता होती है, क्योंकि आप दुनिया के किसी भी देश में जाते हैं, कोई भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स का आदान प्रदान आप कीजिए तो क्या होता है, इसको लैंग्वेज इंग्लिश। तो मैं ये नहीं कहता हमारी जो भी लैंग्वेज, चाहे गुजराती, मराठी, हिंदी, बंगाली, उड़िया, असमिया, पंजाबी, जो भी है, उसकी महत्ता कम हो गई, बात इसकी नहीं है। यहाँ इंटरनेशनल मदर लैंग्वेज डे का मतलब ये है कि हम अपने मदर लैंग्वेज को एक इंटरनेशनल के रूप में सेलिब्रेट करने की कोशिश करें। हम एक दिन उसे भी याद करें जिसने हमें जन्म से यह बुद्धि दी है, यह ताकत दी है कि मनुष्यता क्या होती है, मनुष्य क्या है। तो बच्चों, आज बहुत अच्छा दिन है। हमारी एक बार आप लोगों को फिर ढेरों शुभकामनाएं, और अपने साथियों को, जो हमारे आज के प्रोग्राम की संचालिका है डॉक्टर मलविंदर कौर मैम, और उनके साथी सभी लोगों को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं, और हमारी तरफ से सभी लोगों का बहुत बहुत आभार कि उन्होंने बहुत विषय को लेकर इसका आयोजन किया है। और मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ आप अपने जीवन में अपनी मदर टंग को, इंटरनेशनल मदर लैंग्वेज को जरूर महत्व देंगे और उसकी विशेषताओं को आत्मसात करके अपने जीवन का सम्मुखी सर्वांगीण विकास करेंगे। इन शब्दों के साथ आप लोगों को मैं ये उम्मीद करता हूँ आने वाले समय में 22 या 23 तारीख से फाइनल एग्जाम भी शुरू होने वाले हैं, तो सॉरी हाउस टेस्ट भी शुरू होने वाले हैं और उसके बाद फिर 8 तारीख से फाइनल एग्जाम भी शुरू हो सकते हैं। तो उसके लिए भी आप तैयारी जरूर कीजिएगा और अच्छे ढंग से अपने व्यक्तित्व को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए जिस मिशन को लेकर के आप हमारे कॉलेज में आए हैं उसको जरूर कीजिएगा।
धन्यवाद सर, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपका प्रोत्साहन, आपके आपके शब्द और आपके विचार हम सब के लिए बहुत ही इमोर्टल होते हैं और आपके विचारों से, आपकी बातों से हम सब के अंदर एक अलग ऊर्जा का संचार होता है और हम सब लोग जो हैं और अच्छा काम करने के लिए, ऊर्जा के साथ काम करने के लिए जो है हम प्रेरित होते हैं सर। सो थैंक यू सो मच सर, आपने आज के हमारे प्रोग्राम का शुभारंभ किया, हमें आपने बेस्ट विशेष दी, उसके लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और अब मैं बुलाना चाहूंगा कल्चरल कमेटी की कन्वीनर और इस प्रोग्राम की कोऑर्डिनेटर डॉक्टर बलविंदर कौर जी को कि वो आए और वो अपने शब्दों से हम सबको प्रतिभूत करें। सो आई वेलकम डॉक्टर बलविंदर कौर जी।
Respected principal sir, worthy colleagues, and dear students, good morning each and everyone. First of all, I welcome you all on behalf of Cultural Committee in this program. Before I share, I throw some light on this day. I want to say each and everyone to feel proud on your mother tongue. So we should feel proud on our mother tongue. As all of you, that 21st February is the International Mother Language Day, a day that celebrates cultural and linguistic diversity. As students, you know, today is 19th February, but on 21st February, there is Sunday, so we planned this program today. So you should know that more than 20 years, UNESCO has been celebrating International Mother Language Day on 21st February to promote mother tongue to ways to multilingualism. The world has more than 7,000 languages. We can say even India has 22 official languages, 1,635 mother tongue, and 235 identifiable mother tongues. So languages are vital to the progress of the society and for the communication among the people. The Mother Language Day is celebrated across the world since 2000. The day aims to create awareness about preserving and promoting the mother tongue. The aim is also to preserve diverse culture and intellectual heritage. The resolution of General Assembly proclaimed 2008 as the International Year of the Languages. This day is also a reminder of a rare incident in the history from where this day was declared. I will share that history in brief. That what happened in 1948, 1947, Pakistan was made, and it has two regions, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. In 1948, the governor of Pakistan declared that Urdu will be the only state language in the Pakistan. But Bengali people, they protested, and they said that their mother tongue is Bangla. So Bangla should be one of the state language in addition to the Urdu. So they protested, but to crush the protest, the Pakistan government banned all the rallies, all the meetings in the Pakistan. But defying all the orders of the government, the university students of University of Dhaka, they protested. They organized rallies. So in 1952, the police opened fire on the protesters and killed more than four students, and in a number of persons, number of students injured. But in 1956, Pakistan government was forced to grant official status to Bangla language. Since then, every year on 21st February, every Bangladeshi visits the Shaheed Mark to honor the martyrs who fought for the cause. How this day was declared, there is also some history behind this. That is the resolution to mark 21st February as an International Mother Language Day was suggested by Rafiq Islam, a Bangladeshi residing in Canada. He wrote to UN Secretary Kofi Annan that in 1998 and asked him to save world language from extinction by declaring International Mother Language Day. He proposed 21st February as since it commemorates 1952 killing in Dhaka during the language movement. So that's from there this day we got as an International Mother Language Day. The International Day of Mother Language has led to the awareness that language plays a vital role in the development, ensuring cultural diversity, intercultural dialogue. It also leads to quality of education for all in preserving culture, heritage, for bringing cultural benefits of science and technology to all in order to bring sustainable development. So students, you should know that every year, International Mother Language Day, there is one thing. This is the slide I want to share with you. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, that was the Pakistan governor. He announced Urdu as the national language. And this is the next language movement. As you can see, this is the rally on 21st February 1952 at Dhaka University. You should know. Then is the protest going on. I have some pictures. Then I want to share martyrs. Martyrs, police opened fire in front of the Dhaka Medical College hostel and 5 persons died. So these are those 5 persons. The picture is who died for the cause of mother tongue, for saving and for protecting their mother tongue. So we should salute to these martyrs. Then in the memory of these martyrs, there in the Dhaka there is one mark, that is the known as Shahid Minar. And when Bangladesh was made, then they reconstructed this, and this is the new structure of this Shahid Minar. This is the picture where this is the spot place where all Bangladeshi, all each and every Bangladeshi visit this Minar on 21st February to pay the tribute. So this is that Minar. So next is, I want to say that you should proud on your mother tongue and respecting our roots, the origin and the rich cultural history, that is essential. Okay, now I want to share with you some video that will also enhance your knowledge about the how this day came into existence, how this day was declared, what was the history and what is the importance. Before that, I want to share with you that what is the theme of International Mother Language Day 2021. That is the fostering multilingualism for inclusion in education and society. Fostering multilingualism for inclusion in education and society. What does it mean? This is one of the goal, that is, we can say, for the sustainable development of the society. That's why they have given this year this goal. Every year the UN gave decide some theme, but this year they have focused on the sustainable development of the education as well as the society. So students, now I want to show you some video so that you may go through that video and you may come to know why this day is celebrated, what is the importance of day, and that will be more clear to you. See this video. Volume. So, students, you have seen what was the history of International Mother Language Day and what is its importance. I think now it's clear to you why we celebrate this day as an International Mother Language Day. So we in last I'll say that we should feel proud on our mother tongue. At least every day we should feel proud and we should celebrate this day also and always try to speak in your mother tongue once in a day. Thank you and have a nice day.
थैंक यू सो मच मैम, इट वाज वेरी इंफॉर्मेटिव प्रेजेंटेशन और बहुत सी जानकारी लैंग्वेज के बारे में, हमारी मदर लैंग्वेज के बारे में और आज के इस इंटरनेशनल मदर लैंग्वेज डे के बारे में आपने हमें प्रोवाइड की। और मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि सभी बच्चों ने बहुत सा ज्ञान और बहुत सी नॉलेज जो है इस प्रेजेंटेशन के माध्यम से प्राप्त की होगी। सो थैंक यू सो मच मैम। नाउ I would like to invite Pratiksha from B.Ed first semester to lay some light on today's program, that is International Mother Language Day. So Pratiksha, आप सबके सामने अपने विचार प्रकट करेंगी। So all the best Pratiksha.
Thank you, sir. So a very good morning to one and all present here, respected principal sir, teachers and all the audience. First of all, congratulations to all of you for the International Mother Language Day. So, beginning to state about how it originated, though we have been given a brief history by ma'am, yet let's see in detail how it originated, what is its importance, and why are we celebrating and choosing the date 21st February only to celebrate the International Mother Language Day. So, starting with a very beautiful quote by Nelson Mandela, is that if you talk to a man in the language he understands, if you talk to the man in a language he understands, that will go to his brain. But if you talk to a man in his mother tongue, it will go to its heart. So, hearing this quote, we all must have got an idea that what is the basic importance and why are we exactly celebrating International Mother Language Day. Now we all know that what mother language means. It means the language that the person has spoken since his birth and has grown up imbibing the traits of that language into his personality. And someone has correctly said that mother language is the only place where you speak to express rather than to impress. But what does International Mother Language Day exactly mean? Who started it? Why do we celebrate it? And what is its importance? So let's begin by addressing these questions that are arising and arousing in our mind, leading to our curiosity. So, International Mother Language Day is actually an annual observance that is held on 21st February to promote the awareness of linguistic and cultural diversity and to promote multilingualism. It was first announced by UNESCO on 17th of November 1999 and 21st February was declared to be the International Mother Language Day since then. And it was formally recognized by the United Nations General Assembly in the year 2002. The idea to celebrate this mother language originated by the initiative of Bangladesh. As we all know that when Pakistan became a nation in 1947, it was divided into two parts. East Pakistan, which we now know as Bangladesh, and West Pakistan, which itself is Pakistan in today's times. And both these nations, both these different two halves of Pakistan, they were varied in cultural and linguistic diversity. And the government of Pakistan in 1948 had proclaimed Urdu to be the national language of Pakistan. But whereas the irony was that East Pakistan and West Pakistan combined together mostly spoke in Bangla. So the people of East Pakistan, currently known as Bangladesh, they led protests to protect their mother language, Bangla. But these protests continued for about 4 to 5 years. It took a long time for them to regain their lost mother language. On 21st February 1952, the police of the government of Pakistan had opened fire upon these protesters, and many of them, about hundreds, the counting is enormous, they got killed in that. And this is a rare incident in the history for the first time where such a large amount of people were martyred to protect their own mother language. And again, there is a very famous quote that no other language can express the power, the beauty, the heroism of a nature or of a nation, except the mother language of that nation. The beauty, the power, and heroism of any nation can only be beautifully expressed, felt, and understood through their mother language. And in spite of so many sacrifices, as it is said, that in order to achieve something, we have to sacrifice something. So, in order of such great sacrifices, the government of Pakistan, the East Pakistan, they were able to retain Bangla as the official language of East Pakistanis. And thus, since then in Bangladesh, 21st February is celebrated as the anniversary when the people of Bangladesh fought for the recognition of Bangla language. International Mother Language Day is also a part of the broader initiative to promote the preservation and protection of all the languages used by the people of the world, which was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly. And in this regard, they even regarded 2008 to be the year of international languages. Next, we all know that UNESCO believes in the importance of cultural and linguistic diversity for sustainable development. The main agenda of celebrating International Mother Language Day is to promote sustainable development by respecting and giving equal space for all the languages that are operating in the world so that they and the people speaking those different languages can grow in harmony with each other. UNESCO believes that it is within the mandate for peace that it works to preserve the differences in cultures and languages that foster tolerance and respect for others. Linguistic diversity is nowadays increasingly threatened, and more languages are disappearing. According to records globally, 40% of the population does not have access to an education in a language they speak or understand. Nevertheless, progress is being made in mother tongue based on multilingual education with growing understanding of its importance, particularly in early childhood and schooling, makes individuals more committed towards themselves and towards the public life. Multilingual and multicultural societies too exist through their languages, which transmit and preserve traditional knowledge through the fostering of their own mother tongue. Now, languages are the most powerful instrument of preserving and protecting our tangible and cultural heritage. It is rightly said that what is a nation without a mother tongue? All moves to promote the dissemination of mother language will serve not only to encourage the linguistic diversity and multilingual education, but also to develop fuller awareness of linguistic and cultural traditions throughout the world and to inspire solidarity based on understanding, tolerance, and dialogue. Now, the next significant thing and the most important thing to be discussed is the need and importance to celebrate International Mother Language Day. Firstly, why do we mark such International Day? Why do we need to celebrate it at an international level, or why do we call for such international discussions at such an enormous platform? International days, they are occasions to educate the public on issues of concern, to mobilize political will and resources to address a problem that has grown to a global level and needs a global attention, and to celebrate and reinforce the efforts of humanity that is meant to meet the ends of that problem. Now, stating about the importance of this International Mother Language Day event, the first and the foremost is fostering multilingual and multicultural diversity and respect for the languages, leading to the sustainable development. International Mother Language Day recognizes that languages and multilingualism can advance inclusion and the sustainable development goals. Focus on leaving no one behind. And sustainable development only means taking all together so that the present too is improved while improving the future also. Thus, nobody is left behind. UNESCO believes that education based on mother tongue in the early years of the schooling builds the foundation of learning. The second most important advantage of International Mother Language Day celebration is the safeguarding of linguistic diversities. As we all know that all over the world, like if we speak about India alone, apart from the 22 scheduled recognized official languages, there are about 238 languages that are operating. In such a small country like India, when we have such diversities, think about it at the global level. It really dominates our nerves thinking that how many different languages will be operating around the world. So it's an enormous need to protect all the languages and all the diversities in the languages that is happening all around the world. And thus, such efforts at the global and international level can help promote safeguarding of languages. According to a survey, about 43% of the 6,000 languages and many more are still not counted. These are just the languages that we have found in records. And there are many more that may be operating at the local level also. So about the tons of languages, 43% of the languages are endangered and they are disappearing, with reasons being major globalization. When you go globally for something like for trade only, the basic reason, you tend to speak in that language that will try to communicate your thoughts to the buyer or to the business person in order so that your products will be sold automatically. And in that case, you tend to forget your mother tongue and tend to operate or say speak in the language of commerce. So globalization is one of the important reasons that why our languages are being threatened, and this has led to an enormous fall in 43% of the languages being endangered. So such International Mother Language Day programs or platforms that have been organized by the UNESCO, they are an important way in promoting and preserving and safeguarding our linguistic diversities all over the world. Third important is the personality development. As we all know, like I had started my speech with, that if you speak to a man in the language of his mother language, it straight goes to his heart. And we all know that the traits in our personality cannot be enhanced until and unless we understand something not only from our brain but also from our heart. It needs to be imbibed in our soul in order to become a part of our personality. Thus, this such forums or such things at the global level, they not only encourage people to protect their mother language, but also enhance them to respect their language more, to make them aware about their mother languages, and to help them respect and be proud of their mother language, which will automatically increase a sense of self-satisfaction, self-confidence, and moreover happiness speaking their mother language, which will automatically enhance their personality. Last, one of the most important advantage is to preserve the traditional knowledge and culture. And as we all know कि अगर किसी भी जगह का कोई ancient language होता है या ancient text होता है, for example, if we take our India only, all the Veds and Upanishads are written in the mother language, or say the language of our nation. What would happen? Like imagine reading Rig Veda in English or French. It's ironical and funny. So it's the only thing that traditional things, traditional culture and traditional language can only be preserved if it is written, and automatically not only written but also preserved through ages in the mother language only. Only that the traditional culture and the knowledge of a nation can be transmitted forward to the future generations, that will automatically create an impact, creating a development not only in the personality of the individuals but also ultimately fostering the development of the country. And as we all know, it's correctly said that what's a nation, what's a culture without a mother language? Now, in the present context, we all know that we have spoken about how it originated, how it was created, who created it, and what's the importance. But we all know that United Nations every year selects a theme for the International Mother Language Day. Like 2008 was declared to be the year of International Year of Languages. As we all know that in 2020, COVID-19 pandemic had struck the world very miserably and had made our lives miserable and difficult. So the theme is also related to that only. So the theme is to promote the inclusion of multilingual education and inclusion of education to advance education in the recovery of COVID-19 pandemic. And this effort brings the collective effort of policymakers, educators, and teachers towards the commitment of multilingual education. And this effort will also contribute to the United Nations International Decade of Indigenous Language. This is the major theme. It's the International Decade of Indigenous Languages that will be celebrated from 2022 to 32. As we said, it's a decade, for which UNESCO is the lead agency. So this year, as we all know, even we are interacting through a virtual summit or a virtual platform. Otherwise, it would have, if the pandemic wouldn't have struck us, it would be possible to sit face to face and interact more effectively, creating a greater impact of our thoughts upon ourselves as well as others. But since the theme is also related to COVID-19 and also the scenario that we have all been facing, even the United Nations at the global level is conducting a virtual summit today at Paris at the universal time of 10:30 a.m. And in this virtual summit, I guess they must have started also by now. It's been an hour since it passed. So the two themes that the UNESCO will be discussing on this International Mother Language Day 2021 are, firstly, rethinking the inclusive policy and practice in teaching and learning in multilingual contexts. Secondly, enhancing the inclusion through multilingualism, including sign languages in early education and care that will foster learning. As we all know, the basic crux is that to include the indigenous languages, the native languages, traditional languages into the education system at a very young age, so that it will foster the development of a child, imbibing into his personality at a very early stage. So this too we have spoken about at the global level. But what has India done till now in promoting this mother tongue? So speaking about the contribution of India, as a part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Digital India initiative, Digitalized content will be made available in the country's 22 scheduled languages and will be extended to India's other 234 recognized languages. And this digitalization process had begun 5 years earlier in June 2016 through the Bharatwani project at the Central Institute of Indian Languages at Mysore. And by 2017, out of that 234 languages, 60 languages have been made digitalized on the platform whose content is available to the people for free. Also, other nations also like the US celebrates the Mother Language Festival in its capital Washington DC every year in sync with this International Mother Language Day to promote the development of mother language. Also, awards like the Lingua Pax Prize is awarded annually every year at Barcelona for the outstanding achievement in the preservation of linguistic diversity, revitalization of linguistic communities, and promotion of multilingualism. So, these have been about the importance, history, and about the contribution of at the global as well as our national level towards the protection of International Mother Language Day. And it's very important for all of us to be very proud of what mother language we speak, because all the other languages originate by our mother language only. What we first speak is our mother language. So we should always be proud of the first word of the first language that we have ever uttered when we learned speaking. So then I would request that Gauri will speak you about what's the present context of the International Mother Language Day, and she'll throw light upon this topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pratiksha.
Thank you, sir.
इट वॉज वेरी इम्प्रेसिव और बहुत अच्छे से बहुत अच्छे शब्दों का इस्तेमाल करके और बहुत अच्छे तरीके से आपने एक्सप्लेन किया है आज के इस दिन की इम्पोर्टेंस को, आज के दिन की जो हिस्ट्री है, ओरिजिन है, उसके बारे में जो भी आपने आज इन्फॉर्मेशन दी है, तो वो बहुत अच्छी आपने इन्फॉर्मेशन दी है, बड़ी अच्छी तैयारी के साथ आपने दी है. सो कांग्रेचुलेशन टू यू, बहुत अच्छे, शाबाश.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And now I would like to invite Gauri Bakshi from B.Ed first semester, जो आज हमें आज के दिन का, आज के संदर्भ में जो है उसकी क्या महत्वता है, सो उसके बारे में हमें बताएंगी. सो गौरी, वेलकम, एंड आप अपनी बात रख सकती हैं. सो वेलकम.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Pratiksha. You have been a you wonderfully conveyed the importance, the background, the context of this auspicious day. And a very good afternoon to one and all present here, my respected teachers, my colleagues, my friends, and all the audience who is currently listening to us. Today is the International Mother Language Day. So what is a mother language basically? Mother tongue or mother language is the language spoken in the childhood by the person's mother to the person. हमारी मातृभाषा, जो हमारी माँ हमसे जिस भाषा में बात करती है, हमारी फैमिली में जो भाषा बोली जाती है, the language mainly spoken in the person's home in the childhood is basically the mother tongue or the mother language. And a language is not just a means of communication. It is not used just to talk, just to convey our thoughts, but it is a device for politics that gives individuals their identity, where we come from, who we are, who our parents were, who our ancestors were. A sense of identity and belongingness is provided by our language. There comes a stagnancy that leads to a slow death if a particular language is not used for native language based education and governance. Using a foreign language is not harmful. If we learn a new language, if we learn a new culture, if we learn new things about a Western country or a different country than that of ours. That is not wrong, that is admirable. But it is not a good thing. It is not acceptable that you sacrifice the knowledge, the use of your own native language, your own mother tongue, just to adapt to the modern society. Sanskrit, for example, Sanskrit is a cultural heritage, a mother tongue of India, one of the mother tongues of India. But despite being one of the oldest South Asian languages, which is also called as the Janani of other languages, mother of other languages, Sanskrit, now it is not used. It, its use is limited to academic purposes. Its use is limited to teaching in school up to fifth or eighth. That's it. Very few people learn Sanskrit willingly nowadays. So, why has it happened? That is something to think about. That is something to ponder about. In a country like India, where only 22 out of formal 750 languages, there are various languages, various dialects in India. There are more than 1600 mother tongues, but there are formal 750 languages, and out of which only 22 are recognized by the Union as the part of the 8th schedule of the Constitution. There is a dire need for a lot more action to further the use of native languages in all aspects. It is feared that within 50 years, India's almost half of India's mother tongues will perish. Its use will be so limited that it will become extinct within 50 years. Our linguistic diversity is under great threat because linguistic minority are gradually letting go of their mother tongues. They're not using their native languages anymore. This, coupled with the passive attitude of the people to preserve this language, has earned the India a dubious distinction of being the country with most number of endangered languages. ये हमारी एक sort of lack of achievement है कि India is the country which has most number of endangered languages. In India, in the world, 187 languages in India are under threat of disappearing. On a world level, जब हम इंडिया की बात करते हैं तो इंडिया के अंदर 187 लैंग्वेजेस ऐसी हैं जो खत्म होने वाली हैं. They are about to get disappeared. 9 are already extinct, according to UNESCO's E-Atlas released in February this year. Our South Asian neighbors fall far behind. Nepal has 71 endangered languages. Pakistan has 27, Bangladesh 5, and Sri Lanka just 1. But India tops all our neighbors, maybe because we have such a diverse bank of mother tongues that we have so many of them that are about to perish. This despite the fact that linguistic rights are protected both under the Indian Constitution, Article 29 and Article 350A, and by the UN legislation itself, including, among others, Article 27 of International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and International Labour Organization Convention. So why is it? ऐसा क्यों है that India has the most number of languages in the danger of disappearing? There are various reasons behind it, some of which are that non-tribal languages are perceived as useful or powerful or more resourceful by the young people, because that is the language of commerce, as Pratiksha said, that the language that is used in education or that is used in jobs, that is used in trade, it is more beneficial to learn that languages. That is what the youth today thinks. Parallel to this is a growing sense of insecurity and inferiority in relation to the tribal languages. I would like to point this out that not just tribal languages, even our normal languages like Hindi or Punjabi, as we say, we feel embarrassed so many times that if somebody else is speaking in English, or if there is a group of people, they are sitting together and they are conversing in English, हम शायद हिचक जाएंगे, हम शायद उस वक्त comfortable feel nahi karenge if we talk in Hindi or Punjabi or any other of our native languages. Why is that so? Why is there a sense of inferiority complex, or why there's this sense of insecurity while using a language that your mother gave you. Within the family, there is no pressure to use the mother tongue. Even your family does not support by, no, you should learn English, no, you should learn a foreign language. He does not know how to converse in English properly. We have developed this mentality that it is not important to conserve our own mother tongues. This process of language loss has been termed, perhaps rather dramatically, as linguistic suicide by Anavita Abhi, a professor in Center of Linguistics at JNU. It is called linguistic suicide, that you willingly are letting go of your mother tongue. Most of the content online, after talking about this, if we talk about another problem, that is most of the content that is available online, most of the information on internet services that are being provided are basically in English or major languages that are being used, and not all the mother tongues are included in those services. While India's major languages have transitioned well into the digital space, smaller local languages still have a very long way to go. A Google KPMG study in 2017 titled Indian Languages Defining India's Internet highlights that the Indian language user base will be 2.5 times that of the English user online. That simply means that the focus of the key internet stakeholders in the country will dramatically shift from English to Indian languages. Because a lot of people, even today, are still comfortable in talking in either Hindi or Punjabi or their personal native language, their respective native languages, their mother tongues. So, if the internet services are also provided in that particular language, it will be very easy to access those services. Early schooling is another issue. Early schooling in a child's mother tongue, as it is recommended in the new education policy, can improve learning. It can also increase the student participation, reduce the number of absentees and dropout rates. However, this would need new books, fresh material, teacher training, more funding. Experts have pointed out these are basically the new requirements to for use of mother language. Also, given the multiplicity of the languages, there are so many languages, as Pratiksha and a ma'am before her told us, that there are so many languages in India, that to be able to devise study material in each and every language which is both concise as well as apt for the students to understand is very difficult. It is a big task and requires a lot of funding. Half of the children in low and middle income group in the countries are not taught in the language that they usually speak. And English medium is something that is preferred by the parents themselves. Even there is a movie called English medium. So this is the mentality or the thought process of the current parents, that our child should study in an English medium school in a public. We don't want her to be left out or feel inferior. So because of that, English medium education is given more support instead of local languages or education in your mother tongue. Good learning happens only when the children have very high self-esteem, are well adjusted in the classroom, and are provided a positive and fearless environment to study. And if the child is taught in a language that they do not understand completely and are still trying to learn, none of this will happen. So if a child is comfortable talking in mother tongue, and if he or she is taught in that particular language, it will be more beneficial for the child himself or herself. The theme, as has been discussed before, of the 2021 International Mother Language Day is fostering multilingualism for inclusion in education and society. It recognizes that the languages and multilingualism can advance inclusion, and the sustainable development goals focus on leaving no one behind. UNESCO believes that education based on the first language or our mother tongue, the language that we learned first when we came to the world, must begin from the early years as early childhood care, and education is the foundation of that learning. Ensuring elementary education and governance in native language, Global Partnership for Education, British Council, and many others involved in this area of children's education strongly recommend for a native language based elementary education as children learn faster in their particular mother language. Knowledge shared in a native language invokes a sense of community and a sense of identity in all kinds of governance structures. A language plays a key role in engaging with major stakeholders, whether it is government or leadership, it is judiciary, law enforcement, common people, or NGOs. It is easier to interact with the machineries and the structures in your country in your mother tongue. The process of uniting people via a language has hardly ever changed, despite the widespread use of major languages like French or English or Mandarin, and the fast shift to a digital era. Like it has been pointed out before, that English language is used, or Mandarin is used, or basically a major language, world languages that we call them, are used in globalization to bring people closer. But is it practical to forsake your own mother tongue just to learn a foreign language to feel connected to people that are so far away from you? To be able to learn a different language along with your mother tongue should be the goal, not forsaking your own language to learn a different language. Multilingual and multicultural societies, they exist through their languages, which transmit and preserve the traditional knowledge and cultures in a very sustainable way. Compound disadvantages of forsaking your mother tongue is that mother tongue based education is a key factor in both school enrollment and school survivability for ethno-linguistic minority children, those who do not come from a major language speaking group. They need a familiar environment, they need a secure environment, and a very easily communicable environment when they go to school. Such children face multiple disadvantages, including remoteness, because they may come from very far away areas with limited infrastructure or electricity, poverty, because they're very poor. Many linguistic minority groups are also correlated with poverty. Language barriers, as they are not able to learn different languages and hence are not able to communicate their feelings well. Related to this is the lack of appropriate emergency education materials. The things, the guides, the guidelines that are provided to normal students who speak major broad languages like Hindi or English, they are better able to access information about life in general than the students belonging to a linguistic minority group, because the material is not available in their language. The perceived higher cost of mother tongue based instruction that may cause government to cut back or eliminate multilingual education programs. Teacher attrition, as teachers from outside the local community may have returned to their home areas and be reluctant or be unable to return. The widening of existing gaps, as the ethno-linguistic minority children whose school performance may have already been low fall further behind. So what are basically some practical suggestions? Now, so far I have only discussed problems, or I have discussed disadvantages of not using your mother tongue, or the disadvantages of not having early education in mother tongue. But what are the advantages, and what are basically the solutions? What is the action plan that can help us fight the loss or the death of mother tongues? So practical suggestions are that during COVID-19, ethno-linguistic minority parents may lack the educational background and language skills to help their children with distance learning. So we must encourage the parents, as educators must encourage the parents to share cultural information with their children, including folk tales, dances, customs, food, traditions, etc., to keep their young brains stimulated and growing. Simultaneously, identify and train local community volunteers to help children with distance learning and communicate crucial COVID-19 health messages to children and their parents. As schools reopen, these local people can also serve as teaching assistants, particularly in areas experiencing teacher shortage of native languages. Student in mother tongue based multilingual education programs with limited exposure to other languages may perform below their actual ability if emergency materials are only available in the national or international languages, as I said before. So, suggestion kya hai iska? What is the solution? Working with community based organizations to ensure that emergency education materials are provided in the languages the child knows best is easily accessible forms. Easily accessible forms में उस material को तैयार करना on an individual level, on community level, teachers and the community should work together to make this happen. The global emphasis on digital learning may exclude ethno-linguistic minority children due to limited internet access, lack of funds to purchase electronic devices, lack of parental familiarity with the technology. These are few issues that the students of linguistic minority groups are facing due to online learning platforms because they are not familiar. Their parents are not familiar with technology, and most of the times they cannot even afford the technological equipment needed for online learning. And on the other hand, the electronic material that is not in the mother tongue. So it may be cheaper to create and faster to distribute than printed material. Like we were discussing before, that material should be made available in mother tongue. So instead of making it and preparing it with pages in physical form, it will be less expenditure based if we shift it to an online platform. It will incur less financial burden on the government and on the individuals as well. Consider offline, low technology and no technology solutions for teaching the linguistic minority groups for a while. Optimize existing media infrastructure, including TV, radio, loudspeaker, and billboards, etc., to educate them instead of forcing them or pressurizing them to buy new technologies. Free open source ebooks and talking books may be translated into multiple languages and downloaded onto SD cards for easy access on devices not connected to the internet. Children and parents may hesitate to return to school for a variety of reasons, but we must utilize appropriate local media and community influencers to generate back to school momentum, addressing questions and concerns in local languages. And it is not just linguistic minority groups are facing this problem. A lot of people are facing this problem that they are hesitant to send their children back to school, and especially if they do not feel that the child will be safe in the school. So those questions should be answered in their mother tongue, in their mother language, so that they're easily able to understand that no, it has become safe, or these measures have been taken to see to the safety of our children. Due to school interruptions, a large number of ethno-linguistic minority students may not meet grade level expectations. What they were expected to learn in their classes, they may not be able to do so now, especially in language programs, and thus be expected to repeat a grade. Most of the students, they were not able to, they were already far behind in learning a foreign language or learning national languages, not just foreign language, even Hindi or English. They are not able to learn these languages as quickly as other people because they don't speak that language at their home. So now, because the schooling has been interrupted, they may even not be able to keep up with the other students in the class, and they may fall a grade behind. So grade repetition increases the risk that the child will drop out of school. Because if I feel that, oh no, I don't want to sit with my juniors in a class, what will my friends think of me, what will others think of me, so I may drop out of school. That happens a lot of time. High stake national examinations and evaluations are stressful for teachers and children in the best of times. And in COVID-19, it has become even more stressful, resulting in an actual decrease in learning as teachers teach to the test. Now it has become more about this, you have to study for your exams. So instead of become teaching process becoming more accommodative, it has become limited to making sure that the children pass their exams. And in that case, the content is not delivered completely or more in a explanatory manner to the students, because of which the children who do not speak the language well or belonging to ethno-linguistic groups are not able to understand the concept and fall behind. The COVID-19 experience has traumatized the people all over the world. Children may find it difficult to process their fears and hopes verbally, especially if asked to do so in a language that they do not speak well. If they are not able to communicate properly, how will we help them? And the proper communication can only be done in a particular mother language in their respective mother tongues. Allotment of extra time in schools for non-verbal creative expression, such as drawing and painting, as well as local art forms, music, dance, drama, which are familiar to the students, can enhance resilience while restoring a sense of stability, self-worth, cultural identity, and make the children more eager to learn. So basically, the concluding all the suggestions and the problems, the COVID-19 crisis need not have a devastating impact on education of ethno-linguistic group of children. Indeed, the pandemic provides an opportunity for innovation and for fresh solutions to long-standing problems. Ethno-linguistic minority children, typically among the hardest to reach in any country, can sustain and even build on their pre-pandemic gains if their unique linguistic situation is factored into educational policies, plans, budgets, and programs during and after the COVID-19 crisis, that they may be able to cope with other students. They will be able to learn better, they will be able to perform better if this factor of mother language and ethno-linguicity and lingual diversity of this country is taken into account while forming policies, while making educational decisions. So the idea of using the mother tongue as a medium of instruction in primary school is not new to the Indian education system. Article 350A of the Constitution states that every state and local authority should endeavor to provide adequate facilities for instruction in the mother tongue at primary stage of education to children belonging to linguistic minority groups. The report of the Kothari Commission on Education and National Development suggested that in tribal areas, for the first 2 years of school, the medium of instruction and books should be in the local tribe language. The regional language should be taught separately and should become the medium of instruction by third year. The Right to Education Act 2009 also said that as far as possible, the medium of instruction in school should be the child's mother tongue. Studies from around the world show that it increases classroom participation, reduces the number of dropouts, and grade repetition. So far in our country, Odisha is the only state to formally incorporate multilingual or mother language education into its education system, and that too only for the tribal areas. In 2007, the Odisha government introduced a program in which the mother tongue of students from scheduled tribes is used as the medium of instruction in primary school. So Odia government has the second language from grade 2 and English from grade 3. Tribal languages continue to be taught as subjects after primary school. They do not completely stop the use of native language at the school level. In fact, they promote the use of mother language at the school level by keeping it as a subject after grade 3. Even when English or other national languages are introduced, it is also kept as one of the subjects. To make this possible, those teachers from the community who are fluent in their mother languages as well as in their second language, either Odia or English, are recruited. And a 2014 circular from the government announcing the extension of this program once said those who do not fulfill these criteria are hired on a contract basis with the condition that they acquire those language skills. If no teacher from the community fulfills this criteria, the government hires non-local teachers who are proficient in the local language and familiar with the culture or the tribal language. The government also created bilingual dictionaries, textbooks, supplementary reading material, and language handbooks in local languages such as Desia, Kuvi, Kui, and policy on mother tongue instruction is described as politically acceptable because it is something that nobody will fight or nobody will oppose. Even if the government comes up with such a policy, with such a decision, nobody is going to say no, we don't want to study our mother tongue. No, it is politically acceptable, and each and everyone will be very happy to read and study in their mother tongue. Since it is a part of national education policy, it is also socially desirable as it would help improve the learning of the students in the school, and it is technological possible in today's time. But the only problem is that it may not be very financially viable. So that is the basic and the only hindrance in teaching mother tongues at school in today's time, that it is financially little burdensome, but it can be worked up and the policy can be formulated in such a way using technology that the mother tongues can be taught even at the school level to the children. The education can be provided to them, the study material can be provided to them without incurring more financial burden. Thanks a lot, everyone who heard about this prestigious day. And I'm grateful that I was given the opportunity to talk about it, since this also made me realize how important it is to converse and how important it is to preserve the mother languages. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू सो मच गौरी, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया,
Thank
बहुत
you
बहुत
so much.
धन्यवाद। बहुत अच्छे से आपने अपनी बात को रखा और बड़े अनछुए पहलू जो हैं उनसे आपने हमें रूबरू करवाया हमारी मदर टंग से रिलेटेड, और जो भी उसकी इम्पोर्टेंस है आज के संदर्भ में, जो उसकी इम्पोर्टेंस है और किस तरीके से स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, हमारी फैमिली के लिए, हमारे हमारे परिवार के लिए, हमारे स्कूल के लिए और हर तरीके के वातावरण के लिए, एनवायरनमेंट के लिए कितना जरूरी है, उस सब पे आपने बहुत अच्छे से फोकस किया। कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन, बहुत बहुत मुबारकबाद आपको। और देखिए बच्चों, आज का जो हमारा ये विषय था इंटरनेशनल मदर टंग जो डे है, सो ये आज हमने सेलिब्रेट किया है, आज हमने इसको मनाया है। और बीइंग अ पीपल टीचर, आप सब लोग जो हैं छात्र अध्यापक हैं, छात्र अध्यापिकाएं हैं आप सब लोग, तो आप सबका फर्ज बनता है, आप सबका बहुत बड़ा रोल है कि किस तरीके से जो है हम इस दिवस को और इस मदर टंग की जो इम्पोर्टेंस है उसको हम किस तरीके से समझें और कैसे हम इसको अपने टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस में, जो हमारी शिक्षण अधिगम प्रक्रिया है उसमें किस तरीके से हम इसको यूज करें, और क्या इसकी जो 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 मूल्य हैं, जो हमारे ऑब्जेक्टिव हैं, इसके जो उद्देश्य हैं, लक्ष्य हैं, उसको किस तरीके से हमें अचीव करना है। तो ये हमें अपनी कक्षा में, अपने क्लासरूम में, अपने क्लासरूम में जो हमारे बच्चे हैं, जो जिस भी क्लास को आप पढ़ाते हैं, सो वहाँ इसकी इम्पोर्टेंस आपको समझ में आती है और वहीं आपको इसको बेसिकली यूज करना है। सो बहुत अच्छे विचार आपने और प्रतीक्षा ने, गौरी, रखे, और बाकी सभी बच्चों ने भी पूरा इसमें बढ़ चढ़ के अपना हिस्सा दिया है, अपना योगदान दिया है सबने। सो आज के इस प्रोग्राम के अंत की तरफ हम बढ़ रहे हैं। सो अंत करने से पहले, इसका समापन करने से पहले, मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगा हमारे कॉलेज के प्रिंसिपल प्रधानाचार्य डॉक्टर ए के श्रीवास्तव जी का, कि उन्होंने हमें ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दी, ये अवसर प्रदान किया कि हम इस दिवस को मना सकें, इस दिवस के उपलक्ष्य में कुछ बात कर सकें, आपस में विचारों का आदान प्रदान कर सकें। सो मैं उनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ कल्चरल कमेटी की तरफ से कि सर ने हमें ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दी। इसके बाद मैं सभी फैकल्टी मेंबर्स का, रिस्पेक्टेड वर्दी फैकल्टी मेंबर्स का, कुलीग्स का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगा, जिन्होंने बढ़ चढ़ के इसमें हिस्सा लिया और अपनी भागीदारी दी और अपनी प्रेजेंस रखी आज के इस प्रोग्राम में। सो आप सबकी प्रेजेंस से ही वो ऊर्जा और एक अलग ऊष्मा जो है इस प्रोग्राम में आई, जिसको हमने आज फील किया, जिसको हमने महसूस किया। उसके बाद जो कल्चरल कमेटी की हमारी कन्वीनर हैं, कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं मैडम डॉक्टर रविंद्र कौर जी का भी मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ कि जिनके मार्गदर्शन में, जिनकी सहायता से हमने आज के इस प्रोग्राम का आयोजन किया। जो मेंबर हैं डॉक्टर रजनी ठाकुर, डॉक्टर आरती भट्ट और मिस्टर मनीष कुमार, सो उनका भी मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ कि उन्होंने भी अपना पूरा सहयोग और पूरा योगदान आज के इस प्रोग्राम में दिया है। सो बच्चों, इसी बात के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम दूंगा कि आप सब लोग देश का भविष्य हैं एक अध्यापक के रूप में। आप सब देश का भविष्य हैं एक बच्चे को छूने के संदर्भ में। जब आप लोग अपनी कक्षा में जाते हैं तो जो जो हमारी भाषा है उसके ऊपर हमारी पकड़ जो है बड़ी जरूरी है, लेकिन सबसे जो मुख्य बात है वो ये है कि जो भी बात आप करना चाहते हैं कक्षा के अंदर, वो बात बच्चों के दिमाग तक, दिल तक चली जाए। सो उसको करने के लिए हमें भाषाओं को सीखने की या भाषाओं को बहुत ज्यादा पढ़ने की या उनका बहुत ज्यादा ज्ञान लेने की जरूरत नहीं है। बात है सिर्फ दिल से उसको समझने की, अपने कंटेंट को दिल से समझने की, और जो हमारी मदर टंग है, जो हमारी मातृभाषा है, उसका इस्तेमाल जितना अधिक से अधिक हम करते हैं, जितना अधिक से अधिक हम उसको जो है अपने रूटीन में लेके आते हैं, उतना हमारे लिए अच्छा होता है। सो थैंक यू सो मच। और आज के इस प्रोग्राम का हम अब समापन करेंगे। सभी बच्चों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू, थैंक यू सो मच।